Hi guys, I need your help. I'm in trouble. So I just realized that I went an entire month with just one episode released. Like, it's not something I thought I would ever do. 1 month, one episode is not something I ever saw coming anyway. So, I think I need your help. I need your help in however ways you can help me. Maybe I need your help. I need prayers because I feel this is maybe a sign of something spiritual. I'm joking, but I'm serious. Jokingly seriously, like my friend would put it. So, I don't know what can be done. All I know is this is a cry for intervention. If you know you can intervene on my case, please help me. Help me intervene because this is not just me. I'm very sorry. But yeah, and I hope my apology will be accepted this time. How have you been? I hope this episode finds you in good condition. This is the month of March, and this is mid-month of March. So I hope you are good. I hope you are doing very well. As for me, I'm doing okay. Just that, okay. Not fine, not very fine, not well. I'm doing okay. Whatever you think that means, definitely means it means it. Whatever okay means, it means it. And so, I have been off the grid here and there, and I've been contemplating. At some point, I even contemplated tearing down all the episodes. I'm being very honest with you. I am still contemplating it, tearing down all the episodes. I know that there's every point in one's journey where you get to, and all of the things you've done, all the hard work, seems like something is missing. So the only solution in your head is possibly to tear it down and move on. Like, I don't blame people who start up things and stop them. That whole spirit of keep going, I'm not a really big fan. I feel like at some point, if you are trying something and you've been doing something and it's not working, if you want to tear it down, you have my support anytime, any day. I know it's not something you don't expect a normal human being to say, but hey, who says we have to be normal? Like, tear it down. Don't do, I'll keep striving, I'm going to keep pushing, I'm going to keep moving. Nah, just tear it down. Because only you knows how exactly you are feeling, number one. And I know that your feelings don't validate your reality, I know. But sometimes, your feeling might be pointed to the fact that sometimes, once in every 4 or 5 times. And if you have that one in every 4 or 5 times, sometimes just tear it down and start again. Imagine going and keep going only to find that when you are close to the end that you've been wrong all along. That's not something anybody wants to hear. So yeah. So, I have been thinking about it. I don't know that I will do it, but I'm just being honest. This is my safe space. At least it used to be when I was consistent. And I did not want a situation where this just became a routine, something I come and I do. I come, I sit, I record it because I am trying to, be consistent. I'm trying to gain followers. I'm trying to have something to put up. No. I want it to be a place where I can be as honest with my head and with myself as possible. Even if it means you get to hear my honesty, you get to hear my thoughts. So at some point, it's been boggling me in my head to tear it down. Why has it been boggling me in my head to tear it down? Because I think I'm starting to get worried over the things I shouldn't be worried about. When I started, I told myself I wasn't going to be worried about metrics. That people are not listening and stuff. I said that genuinely. I didn't care about it. But at some point, I started to worry that people were not listening. That was in time past. I still am worried. But that's not just the major reason. The major reason why I want to tear it down is I think I'm beginning to overspeak. But yeah, that would be ironical, since I already said this is my safe space where I want to come and spill. But I think even as much as it's my safe space, because I am not the only person who gets to listen to it, I'm beginning to suffer from the fear of overspilling. Like, saying things too much. That shouldn't be true, but I mean. And then overspilling, and just looking at the fact that I have done this consistently for almost 1 year is scary in my head. I never thought I would. So I am. But for today is not the day we tear it down, because we are here already. So how have you been? I have been having some emotional weeks or emotional days in the last few weeks. My emotions have been flying left, right, center, like the gas molecules in a vacuum, hitting themselves and hitting the walls of the container. But that's just something about kinetic theory of gases. It's chemistry. Please don't look at me with that face. It's chemistry. And I'm trying to show off. Secretly, I am. But yeah. My emotions have been flying. Why have they been flying? I don't know. But on one of such days when my emotions were flying, I sat down to think about something. There is something called self-sacrifice. And I sat down to think about it. And self-sacrifice is a sign of a bigger problem. That bigger problem will be discussed on another episode. Yes, that's a bigger problem I wanted to discuss today, but I just came to put at this. So, self-sacrifice is a situation, just in plain terms, where you have the tendency to put yourself as a victim or as less in case of someone or another group. It's basically a form of a messiah complex, So a messiah complex is derived from the idea of Jesus Christ, our Messiah, going to the cross to die for all of us. But a self-sacrifice is in that extent, except that you are not dying physically. You are dying because you are putting your wants, your needs, yourself, your thoughts, everything about you on the ground so that other people can move up. And it's so subtle because it existed in my head for a very long time and I didn't know how to get past it. So I'm talking since for as long as I can think of. In fact, I have a story. So I have a large number of I have quite a number of cousins, at least from my maternal side of the family. Give or take, we should be close to 30 as of the last count, close to 30. But while we were much younger, at least when we were still few, we all lived with our parents, lived separately. So there was a day, at least sometimes, maybe in weekends or on holidays, we would gather at my grandparents' house. So we gathered at my grandparents' house for this holiday. And we had someone rearing catfish in my grandparents' house. So this catfish, catfish now, their food is something like a nut, is brown, it smells good. It smells most especially when it's dissolved in water. So when we gathered, my cousin had come around and honestly, she had this weird thing where she saw catfish. I don't know if that's her first time. And then she saw the need to feed them. And I told her, leave them, these catfish are not yours. So when you are making pap, the shaft, the one that you dry off and throw away. Some people dry it off and feed chickens with it. She took it and she acted like she, and I said, that's not the food of this thing. She didn't hear. When I left, she now poured just a handful inside the water. and the catfish ate it. And a few hours later, they started dying. And then the person rearing the catfish comes around and he's wondering what happened. And he investigates and finds that apparently somebody had given the catfish not their food but shaft from pap. And he's mad, he's angry. And then they line up every one of us and start doing this FBI investigative technique where they're asking you to recount the details of your whereabouts for the last 1 hour or so. And they get to 3 of us and our details don't align. Now our details don't align because I went to where the catfish was while it was lying that I didn't. The person who went and killed the catfish by feeding them also lied. So we had 3 of us who our stories were not straight. And we were just beating around the bush. After we'd done that, after we had done beating around the bush for a while, they eliminated the last person. They left 2 of us. And this person who killed the catfish was trying to make them see me as an alibi. To imagine you committed the crime after I warned you. And now you're trying to make me your alibi, the person who gets to vouch for you. Because if I do vouch for you, that puts me in trouble. And back and forth. Eventually, what I did was, I agreed. I told them that she didn't do it. So when they said if she didn't do it, that means you did. I denied. We went back and forth. And after a while, they let her go. But they didn't let me go. Because I used to visit my grandparents more than every other person. So they felt I was the one who did it. And I allowed them believe. I think I was flogged. I can't remember. But why share this story? I think about this and I think about every single event where I have done something similar to this. Let down myself just so that other persons could enjoy it. And I'm thinking, just because this is not just about me, I'm thinking about every single one of us. I'm thinking about you, even you who's listening. And I'm wondering all of the times where you've put down your goals, your desires, your ambitions, just so that, someone else can shine. You've thought about something that would genuinely make you happy, you're going to enjoy. And you know what? You said, this thing won't affect or won't make another person smile, won't do this. It will make me look this way in eyes of people. And I'm thinking about all of the times you've done it down. You've turned it down. I'm thinking about all of the times where I have sacrificed myself for the goal of others. It's much. But I'm wondering that it is not a sign of something huge. It's not a pointer to something else. I'm thinking, because at the end of the day, if you check, you discover that at some point in life, we've all sacrificed ourselves for someone else. Imagine a parent giving up their career to raise children. Imagine donating your kidney to save someone else's life. Okay, or better still, imagine a firefighter risking their life to save others from a burning building. These are just so many examples. We've all self-sacrificed at some point. We've all had to. In fact, when Jesus tells us to love our neighbor as ourselves, it's a goal of self-sacrifice. It's a thing. But I'm not just talking about how good it is. I'm talking about it from the ills, the the demerits of it, the entire process. I'm talking about how that it can result in burnout and exhaustion. You can do it so much so well that you do not see anything about you as something to live for. Like, you do not see anything about you as typically something worth giving yourself for. At some point, you could do it so much that you think that your goals are not worth it because they are your goals. Like, they're not the goals of someone else. All you've just learned how to do every single time is to self-sacrifice. If you're not killing yourself, if you're not putting yourself down on the line for someone else, you think there is nothing worth it about your life. I am thinking, because as much as it is good to esteem others high above ourselves, but sometimes I think that it is important for you to know that you are still a person. And sometimes maybe treat yourself as others and see that you've killed yourself so much that you do not know that sometimes you are worth it. It can be bad because at the end of the day, you might just lose your identity. Such that if someone decides to self-sacrifice for you, you don't see why. It's no longer worth it. I mean, why? I'm just not there. I'm not it. I'm saying this because I think a lot of us might be suffering from this, but we do not know. Hear me out. Think about every single time you've decided to do something nice for yourself, but you were like, should I? I'm not sure I'm not wasting my money. Think about all the times where you want to get something for yourself and you're like, you sure you're not wasting this money? If you work, think about all the times where you get paid and no part of your money is spent on yourself, it's spent on every other person except yourself. Like, think about this. And genuinely, another major issue with self-sacrifice, that major problem, is it can lead to anger and resentment. You can start to resent yourself. You can feel you are being taken advantage of. You can feel unappreciated. Like, it can just finally end up in compromising your well-being or your happiness. Like, you do not get a reason to be happy. I'm thinking about it, and it's one of the things I think has characterized a lot of us and our upbringings. We are taught to estimate, most especially, the needs of family and friends, others. And there's nothing wrong with it, because you should do that. But I'm saying it's not emphasized enough the importance of the fact that you have to check it. You have to constantly remind yourself that I'm only human, or I'm just as human as everyone else. I'm just a person. It's subtle, but it's there. It's there. The idea that if you kill yourself so much, you do not recognize that you are worth fighting for, you are worth dying for, such that if someone at some point decides to fight for you or die for you, you do not see it as anything. Like, you do not consider yourself someone should. I mean, there's another extreme of exaggeration of self-esteem, but that's not even where we are going to. But I'm thinking about the part where you do not see it such that you either do not know how to appreciate it, or you don't see that something is technically wrong if you do not want to accept help, you don't want to accept being spent on or being appreciated. Something is wrong with that mindset. And honestly, this thing has flawed my reasoning for a while, but now it's drowning my thoughts, because every time I think about that story I just told you, and every other little moment like this I've had in time past, even while growing up, and as much as an adult, I've been thinking about some of the times where I have done things that are not favorable to me. I have missed things for myself because I was trying to put. And then at some point, when I sit down later to ask myself, I console myself by saying, it's not really bad. But at some point, you have to see the line that maybe at some point you do not think that you are worth anything again. And it's ironic because in the eyes of a God, the God who made you, you are worth something just as much as the other person. There's something wrong with our idea of self-sacrifice. Or should we go to another extreme and self-sacrificing for ourselves? I do not agree with that extreme. But there's something wrong with our idea. What do you think? What do you think about it? Let me know in the comments of this episode. I want to hear what you think about self-sacrifice. Or do you think I'm just overthinking it? It's a normal thing. I shouldn't think deep about it. I want to hear your episode. I want to hear your thought. Sorry, I said episode. I want to hear your thought. So yeah, that's the episode. Thank you for sticking with me. And until I come your way on the next one. Bye.